home of the Chennai Super Kings. Well, that's how you call the MA Chidambaram Stadium from here on, as the EPL, the way the EPL games are played, that's how they call a ground as a home of the particular team. But I'm here to talk about some of my best experiences with the MA Chidambaram Stadium. When did I first come here? I first came here in the year 1992 for a match between West Zone and Central Zone. You may imagine, why would somebody come for such a Durab Trophy game? In fact, there are only about 100 people here. But to me, watching cricket on television and watching cricket on the ground was such a different proposition altogether. That was the stadium, and that was a part of the stadium where I was. If you could focus the camera there, which is the Anna Pavilion, and I sat right next to the Anna Pavilion in the Madras Cricket Club. And this particular part of the stadium at that point of time did not have tickets. Imagine, you could go sit in the pavilion and watch some of India's national cricketers play. And those days, these cricketers didn't have too many matches. I mean, they had a season for the Ranji Trophy and the Dulip Trophy. And if you were investing your time in such matches, you invariably had players like Sachin Tendulkar, Ravi Shastri, Praveen Amre, Kiran More playing here. And that was the first time I also happened to get autographs. I remember one of my father's brother, he happened to know a senior writer called Pratap Ramchand, and that's how I went inside the dressing room of the Indian cricket players. 92 was my first match, and 3 months later, sometime in October the same year, there was an India vs World 11 match played here. That was a day match, and India obviously won that game. When I look at these matches, those days I wasn't so interested in following the game as such. I was more interested in climbing through the walls of these stadiums, trying to find an alternate route to get to the other stand. My whole aim was to make it to the pavilion and to try and get autographs from cricket players or say cricket commentators. Autographs from players happened in the year 1992, but in the year 1993 it was a welcome deviation for me. I managed to get autographs of cricket players in the commentary box. The players were David Gower and Sunil Gavaskar. And in 1993, one of my school juniors, Aditya Shrikant, the son of Krishnamachari Shrikant, once invited me to his home. And when I say invite me, it was just a casual invitation over lunch, as in school. He came and said, if you want autographs, why don't you come to my house? The players are coming there tomorrow. I took it as a very serious invitation. I thought this could be my day, and I forced my mother, riding on TVS 50, to drive 40 kilometers to Shrikant's house, but that never happened. 15 kilometers into the journey, my mother was very scared, and she decided to abandon the journey. But that's memories of childhood. I did anyway come to watch the match on the third day. It was a Sunday, and most so famous for Chris Lewis' brilliant century. I think it was his only century, 117 versus the trio of Rajesh Chauhan, Venkatapati Raju, and who was the other? Anil Kumble, the famous spinner who's still there, who's also the captain now. The next match that I came to the Chepauk Stadium was in 1995. The dates were roughly in October 23rd to 28th. It was the India-New Zealand Test match, for which New Zealand had Lee Jaman as the captain. Lee Jaman was made captain in his debut Test match. So where would you find such an occurrence? Anyway, his debut Test match was not in Chennai. It happened in Bangalore, the first Test match. The second Test was in Chennai, but all that could be possible was just a few overs of play, and the match was rained out. But since the players were staying at Chola Sheraton, which is a very famous 5-star hotel in Chennai, and my mother was working there, I used that opportunity to go meet up with some of the players, get autographs. That to me was nirvana at that time. But anyway, 1995 went away. The big match here in 1996 was, of course, the World Cup quarter-final played, and that was Chennai's first day-night match. And at that point of time, I was in that particular stand. I didn't get the pavilion tickets. The pavilion is here. That was the stand that I got. I remember paying 150 rupees. That was the time the 1.5 liter Coke bottle was introduced. Coke was one of the sponsors for the 1996 World Cup. And I remember I had a very good time. Mark Wass scored a scintillating 100. Shane Warne had a cameo. More than that, Chris Harris and Lee Jaman played a brilliant. They had a brilliant partnership which propelled New Zealand to 289. That was the first series of matches where, high scoring totals could very easily be achieved. Because way back in 96, nobody chased so many runs at that point of time. after 96, the next year's match that was played here on May 21st, 1997 was of course the India-Pakistan one-day match. It couldn't get bigger at that time. India-Pakistan matches were, they had that tinge of patriotic fervor. Because these days, India and Pakistan tend to play each other far too often. That national zingoism is somewhat lost. But those are the days when India used to play Pakistan only at Sharjah. They never toured India or Pakistan. Pakistan was just making a tour to India as part of the Independence Cup. I remember I wasn't in Chennai at that time. I was trekking in Manali with my heart beating for Chennai here. But thankfully I didn't see the match because Saeed Anwar made the ball visit every part of the ground with his 194 and Pakistan ended up winning the match. But it was a memorable match because Rahul Dravid came to the fore with his first one-day 100. The year after that, my parents didn't allow me to waste money on a match between Bangladesh and Kenya. Again, played exactly a year later, 23rd May 1998, of which Kenya won that match. The year after that, 1999, India played Pakistan, and I remember I was in school then, I was in class 11, and the test match was an absolute melee in Chennai. Everybody was talking about the India-Pakistan test match. I remember I had classes on I think exponential and logarithmic series, but nothing went into my mind at that time. All that was going on in my mind was the test match series that's being played here as part of the Pepsi Cup, as it was called. And it was a wonderful test match. Even though India lost, some of the vignettes or moments that I would remember in that test match would be the way Wasim Akram got rid of Rahul Dravid with the ball, which pitched on leg stump and swung and swerved and hit the off stump. That to me was one of the more defining moments. And of course, some of Sachin's shots in that match. I remember I was sitting in the SR stand, just not very far from here. The stand which has those color seats, that's exactly where I was sitting. I was sitting with my mother there, and watching Sachin stroke those shots off Bakar in that match, I could hear the impact of the ball meeting his blade when he drove that to covers. This was where it happened, and it feels good to come back at the same place and envision those lovely innings that were played a few years back. But after that, I haven't been a very frequent visitor to Chennai. I was in this very place for the India versus England 2002 one-day match played on January 25th. That was my worst experience simply because of the fact that at least now in these grounds you have these seats. Earlier there were no seats. So you had to literally, if you found this empty space, you had to cramp yourself like this. And here I was for 8 hours, and I had no access to go to toilet, nor to eat anything. So I was left famished at the end of the match, more than really enjoying it. That was the time they introduced the giant scoreboard, the scorecard for television replays. But I think right now, going by what it looks, the television screens may have been lifted off. It's only an electronic scoreboard right there. But I guess we should be finding out when the test match starts. But after that, I haven't been to any other matches. But that was the Chennai-Chidambaram Stadium for you from my point of view. Thanks a lot for taking time out to watch this rather long video. Thanks a lot. Till next time, bye-bye.